Consciousness is a state of being aware of oneself and one's surroundings, and the ability to experience thoughts, feelings, and sensations. Humans have consciousness. The science behind consciousness is still vague. Animals, of course, have consciousness. They are aware of their surroundings. They communicate and hence express their thoughts and feelings. They can sense danger and hence run away from it. They can make decisions in various circumstances. So yeah, animals have consciousness. What about plants? Do plants have consciousness? Unlike humans and animals, plants do not possess a central nervous system. No brains, no neurons. With that said, we know plants do not think like we, but plants do process information. Like we have elaborated in our previous video, plants sense light, gravity, touch, moisture, chemicals, and even signals from other plants and animals. Take the Venus flytrap as a typical example. Sensitivity is a natural aspect of consciousness. In terms of communication, plants release volatile organic compounds to warn nearby plants about threats like insect attacks. Roots exude chemicals to attract helpful fungi or bacteria. Some species recognize kin and change their growth patterns to avoid competing with them. Interesting. Some examples of these volatile organic compounds are isoprene, terpenes like pinene, and methyl salicylate. In terms of memory and learning, studies have shown that some plants, like the Mimosa pudica, can learn to ignore harmless stimuli. They can also remember stress events and adapt, a form of non-neural memory stored chemically or at the cellular level. So, is this all what consciousness is about? The question again, do plants have consciousness? A lot of scientists from the past, including René Descartes, started to create more awareness on consciousness. Early scientists like Gustav Theodor Fechner and Charles Darwin explored the idea of plant consciousness. Though not in a way we might understand it today, these scientists have even proposed a plant intelligence theory, which says plant intelligence is a field of plant biology which aims to understand how plants process the information they obtain from the environment. Plant intelligence has been defined as any type of intentional and flexible behavior that is beneficial and enables the organism to achieve its goal. Now let us put all these aside for a moment. We will come back to it shortly. I want us to dive into something different. Quantum biology. What is quantum biology? Quantum biology is a field that explores how quantum mechanical principles like superposition and entanglement play a role in biological processes. It investigates phenomena in living organisms that can be fully explained by classical physics and explores how quantum effects might influence aspects like photosynthesis, enzyme activity, and even DNA mutation. Quantum mechanics is the science of mechanics that deals with how the universe behaves at the atomic scale. Classical mechanics or Newtonian mechanics works very well on our scale, but when referring to very small, tiny particles, these behaviors become a bit weird. And so we have quantum mechanics that accounts for this weird behavior. When you have a stone and is let go from a height, it falls. When a force is applied to an object, it moves, and so on, are the everyday activities that could be explained using classical mechanics. but not of the small. When we talk of quantum mechanics, we can talk of quantization. That basically tells us that energy, angular momentum, and momentum are not continuous, but come in discrete packets called quanta. We have wave particle duality, where at its scales, or at these scales, particles possess typical particle nature and wave-like nature. We have the uncertainty principle, where specific sets of physical properties such as energy and time, position and momentum cannot be known simultaneously, which means the higher in accuracy one parameter is known results in the lower the accuracy we have for the other parameter. Superposition talks about a particle that can be in multiple states simultaneously. And then we have entanglement, which is the weirdest of them all, and it talks about two or more particles at the scale of the nano region, which could be linked even though they are farther apart in a way where an action done on one of the particles guarantees an instantaneous action on the other. Spooky action at a distance, if you will. So quantum biology is the application of quantum mechanics in biological phenomena that cannot be explained by ordinary classical mechanics. There are a lot of examples that seem to support the idea that biological objects do obey the principles of quantum mechanics. Since we are dealing with plants, let's look at photosynthesis again. In the first process or aspect of photosynthesis, we realize that a photon enters and borrows an electron from the chlorophyll. That excites the electron. Now, when this electron gets excited by the photon, this is where things get interesting. There are a lot of other electrons within the pigment, and also there are other pigments as well. This electron has no problem, however, moving through all these other electrons and pigments until it gets to the plastoquinone to pick it up. Before this electron moves to the reaction center, it moves through a lot of chlorophyll pigments. Scientists have pointed out that photosynthesis is 100% efficient. This means that no energy is lost during the process. And so how does this electron or exciton manage to carry its intact energy through all these obstacles and manage to do so that fast? It is because, in fact, they actually do. Using the principle of superposition, particles in this small scale can explore all possible routes simultaneously since they are in different states. Simply put, when a particle obeying quantum mechanics is faced with multiple routes, it can explore all of them as a wave at once. Therefore, the aspect of this particle, thus its probable position that reaches the reaction center first, it encounters a realization of sort. And so the wave nature of this particle collapses and realizes a particulate nature again at the reaction center. Scientists have in fact proven true this theory using laser pulses, and at the end of this experiment, the transform actually showed that the light interacted with all of the entities within the chlorophyll, not just 3 electrons. This tells us that we could use quantum biology to explain a broad range of phenomena. Consciousness, I think, is a quantum biological phenomenon where intelligence, awareness, and self are collectively involved. Can we as humans say we are conscious when we were babies? Then why don't we have any memories of ourselves as babies? Now, consciousness grants us the ability to make memories. Learning is a process of gathering information and using signals in the form of impulses to create a framework, a structure that makes us to perceive the world and cope with it. This is why humans could reach unthinkable heights in their mental and physical development. Our brains put pieces together every day, and this, just like the computers, provide an internal language, a kind of normality to interpret our internal and external environment. Our consciousness then becomes our memories, our experiences, our challenges, everything we have gathered in the process of acquiring knowledge becomes our consciousness. And this is what helps us in our decision making and general cognition and understanding. So this is how quantum biology comes into the picture. Some scientists using hemispherectomy, which is a procedure where a portion of the brain is surgically removed, gave clarity that still this brain could function due to its plastic nature. Synaptic plasticity is the ability of the brain to reshape itself, including connections between nerve cells. These adjustments make the brain to be able to recollect memories. With all these aspects having slightly different action potentials, the information in general are quantum entangled. And therefore, this interlocking becomes the human consciousness, as it involves the memories of all the happenings that the brain has processed. So, as to whether we could justify the plant as having consciousness, I say we cannot. But with future indulgence into plant neurobiology, we will be able to know whether plants have consciousness or not. Anyways, consciousness is life. It is the only evidence to life. It is a system of information processing. It is a system of being.